There. That just about says it. Now let's see if we can still manage a limerick. There once was a Manhattan queen with nothing that she hadn't seen till they said, no charades. You're a person with AIDS. Abandon all plans for the screen. You'd better put down that marine. Don't subscribe to a new magazine. Mom didn't turn on your machine. Okay, I can't make little songs out of my great sorrows. I may as well talk to you. But be advised, if you're calling to tell me you've got it, save both our breaths. Just say ditto and leave me to my beads. Oh, Bob. Well, of course you haven't got it. Who'd give it to you? Except a good-hearted USO girl like me. And we were way back in the 60s, when the word AIDS was preceded by the words American military. How am I? Well, when I think of what I got, I feel like shit. But when I think of how I got it, I can't complain. How are you? I know you've called. I hate those twilight zones where people install phones in their coffins, so I haven't been answering mine. This exception is not because I still love you, but because I've just written some hilarious last words. I want someone literate listening in case I croak while Mom and Sis are out at morning mass. They're here to identify the body, which millions could do in the dark, and to pray for the soul, the mind being unknown to them. You, I presume, have called to glean piquant details on what it's like to die as I have lived. A socio-sexuological statistic. I know your writers. You're life's hungry men. So, here's a fairly poignant paradox for your next play. I came home from a rally for gay rights only to learn I had the great gay wrong. Wait, that isn't a paradox, is it? It's an irony. It's an irony, one of life's little ironies, like Anita Bryant turning out to be right. Bob, don't bother to answer back. Anything said to me now might as well be written on a decomposing squash. The brain goes first, you know, except for the portions dedicated to pain, which are apparently immune. Do I need anything? Oh, how droll. Wait, I may just have enough strength for a comeback to that. No, I don't need anything. I already have cancer, pneumonia, and Mother at my side. All the things that make life worth leaving. How's that? Come over, be serious. I look like Mia Farrow halfway through Rosemary's Baby. I want you to remember me as the Botticelli flower child I once was. God, I was the prettiest queen that ever paraded for peace, and now I'm something that needs to be burned after death. I was pretty, wasn't I? Bob? All right, smartass, you can answer that one. But think before you speak. Woo! Saved by the cliche, aren't you the lucky one? That's the church bell. One stroke means it's 7:30. At 8 o'clock, it's a David O. Selznick production up here. And Mom and Sis will come crawling upstairs on their knees, muttering rosaries. So, I'm yours till 8 o'clock or the end of time. Whichever comes first. Wait. What's that couplet by old A.E. Housman? And he shall hear the stroke of 8 and not the stroke of 9. About the condemned man in his cell. Condemned for not being condoned. Oh, the wit and wisdom of the living dead. Oh, you like that? Well, I leave it to you. Anything else? Records? Tapes? The history of Western music from Mahalia to Michael Jackson? I want to give it all away before some fool plays disco at my funeral and the record gets stuck and nobody can tell and the service lasts forever. But I'm being negative. Want to hear some positive funeral plans? I want to be freeze-dried, cut in half, and made into ballerina plaques. No, actually, I insist on being cremated. It's my last chance to get my ashes hauled. No, actually, I want to be mixed with grease paint and used as blackface for Diana Ross drags. And then I want my MasterCard and all my ID clipped together and flung to the cutest kid in Sheridan Square. And I don't want you reading any of your crappy monologues. Or mine. I've already cremated my so-called works. Oh, shut up. I was not a real writer. But you, of course, are. I apologize for that base canard. All I had was a knack for cute coffee table metaphors. Like, Joan Collins is as vulgar as Christmas in Mexico. Or remember, I called that nervous friend of yours as delicate as the glass menagerie in Braille. And one of my own true loves, not you. I was heard to quip, his cock is like cake, his balls are like bells, but his ass is like ice. Thank you. Wait. Those aren't metaphors. They're similes. Oh, that's me, Simile Dickinson. Well, forgive the low level of repartee at this end. I haven't been reading anything but condolence cards. A pixie-ish fellow PWA sent me one that says, "What do you give the man who has everything?" And I'm designing one to be sent by well-meaning, helpless friends like you. It shows a quadruple amputee saying, "I'm behind you 100%. And of course, Mom's been reading to me. Oh, Shirley MacLaine's latest volume, what else? Shirley claims that we pay in each next life for our sins in the last. Well, Cheryl girl, we've streamlined the process this time. Your up-to-date pervert is dying in the fast lane. No, I'm not going back into the hospital. I abhor the term legally alive. God, think of the great men who've nibbled on me. And now I'm nothing but a snack for a virus, something that can't even decide if it's a plant or an animal. Well, let me tell you, it's no picnic being one. Bob, there's nothing that medical science can do. AIDS is the gift that keeps on giving. Oh, my luck. I get this sweet Indian doctor who kept folding and unfolding his glasses like a Rubik's Cube. He very shyly asked me if he could take blood, urine, snot, stool, semen, and saliva specimens. So I said, sure. Then can we do what I like? Oh, and then I used one of your lines on the poor sweet sap. He very delicately informed me that there was a lot less chance of getting it if one had been what they call a top man. Well, I couldn't resist it. So I said, Doc, I've always been a top man. You can get it further up you that way. And then the diagnoses came up. Bingo. He tried to warn me about the depression that often accompanies the diagnoses of AIDS. So I said, with a show of great relief, AIDS? Oh, thank God, doctor. I thought you said age. Well, you know my motto, brighten the coroner where you are. And I tried to make it up by volunteering to be a subject for any cute trick science might want to try. And he said, "Mr. Wood, we cannot use you as an experimental animal." And I told him, "Doc, I'm an effeminate queer. I've never been used as anything else." Yes, except by you, Bob. Of course, we know that. We were truly in love. That was love, wasn't it? No wonder it went out of style. No, I'm sorry. What you said was true. When you fucked me over that tenement banister with the Dayglow peace signs flaking off the walls, it was the balcony scene of the 60s. Oh, Christ, I used to be so clever and now I'm reduced to quoting you. I was clever. When I was just a little girl in East Bay, California, I noticed that East Bay was Pig Latin for beast. But I knew I had found my niche when I realized that Alice Faye was Pig Latin for phallus. Yes, isn't that good? You think we can interest the virus in 1930 musicals and it'll turn queer and stop reproducing? Scratch that. You have to be born to royalty. At least that's how that lovely old 1940s closet queen who brought me out used to put it. Born to royalty? He'd spot some hunky number, lean over to me and whisper, "Do you think he was born to royalty?" Meaning, was he a queen? Born to royalty. Sigh. God knows I was. 12 years old, I rummaged through the biggest country western record barn in Central California and found the only Marlene Dietrich album on the West Coast. You have to be born with that instinct. And all of my little lonesome, I found Walt Whitman and Aubrey Beardsley and bleaching my bangs with lemon juice and ordering everything a size small. And outlining my eyes with ballpoint pens so when the boys made me cry, they wouldn't see anything running. And when my age became the socially conscious we generation, I had to fight for my right to riot in pink high heels. And when we OD'd on politics and became the me generation, I drove to New York on a lavender-colored motorcycle after using my last sunshine acid to spike the communion wine. Nah, I should have. I could have been Jim Jones. I could have been a contender instead of a drab example of the degeneration turned into a serving of sushi for a flock of plankton. But let's not talk about me when I'm gone. Where was I? Let me see. Oh, yes. We're born that way. We're part of nature's plan, that riff. Well, it's trite, but it's true. Where would the world be without its fairies? Well, we may be about to find out now, mayn't we? And you've been too ugly for a decade for anyone to fuck with. You'll live to see it. A world without fairies. Bloomingdale's, of course, will have to close. And there'll be no girl singers to speak of. And speak of. And speak of. Whole strains of ferns and poodles will die out. Plaid shirts will be marked down to $3.95 in memoriam. Of course, fairies have been dying out ever since the 70s Marlboro macho movement. If I live till noon, I'll never understand the clowns trying to look like the bullies who used to beat us all up in the schoolyards. They're living proof, wherever that term may still apply, that you don't need to learn to be gay. You have to learn to act straight, which may be the origin of the verb to ape. Thank you. Why, if it hadn't been for a few effeminate holdouts like me, the color beige might have vanished from the face of the earth. Oh, God. Oh, God. Well, give yourself a gold star, you noticed. Yes, Bob, I'm tiring myself out. I'm not having an experience I care to prolong. Remember those fantasies about attending your own funeral? Well, it's not as much fun as we thought it would be. Stay on the line. Those snappy last words may be imminent. It's my party, and I'll die if I want to. I'm sorry. I'm being cruel. Oh, what a way to go. Look, you're okay, I'm not okay, okay? I'm dying. Everybody dies. Except for 2 unconfirmed reports from Bethlehem and Transylvania. Why does this take my generation by such surprise? That they all think we just go into reruns? Wouldn't you think a queen would be glad to learn she's about to lose all of her weight forever? Oh, must we go through those 5 official stages? What are those 5 stages again? Anger, denial, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Well, back up. Here comes my acceptance speech. I am now, and I always have been, a flaming faggot, responsible for style in its every manifestation. I have my own 5 steps. Flippancy, sentimentality, sarcasm, camp, and smut. Those got me through life, and deity damn it, they'll get me through death. Now shut up, or I'll stop loving you. I expected you to write something to make me live in infamy, like Shakespeare promised his poor Elizabethan pushover. Not marble, nor the gilded monuments of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme. Well, as it turned out, the gilded monuments of princes are major tourist attractions, and nobody knows who the hell the sonnets are written for. But, oh, don't cry. I love you. You're brilliant. That was a bass canard. You're a wonderful writer. I am less than all that dust on your laurels. You're the world's greatest living gay playwright. Or with any luck, soon will be. Look, how's this for comfort? We were the last 2 white people to ever fall in love. That ought to rate some space in the whatever became of books. And there are no challengers on the horizon. How can anybody fall in something as awful as love when they're being careful? Before my condition started warranting quarantine, I knew 2 kids, lovers, into safe sex, monogamous out of terror. Well, one night, they were jerking themselves off while fucking the other with vibrators, when one of them's arms got tired and he switched hands. And his lover hops out of bed screaming, "You switched hands! You might have got some pre-cum on your finger and it might have climbed up the vibrator into me! Are you trying to kill me?" Naked, except for rubber gloves, a banana-flavored condom, and an electric dildo still revolving in his ass. Not as what is called love's first fine careless rapture, now is it? Oh, don't, you're right, you're always right. Of course love will survive. They couldn't kill it with those purple hairdos. They can't kill it with a plague. Boys will fall in love with each other's earlobes if all else should fail. Because it was never really about sex, was it? It was about love. Yes, I know you did. Yes, I know you do. Yes, I do too. I'm sorry we broke up too. I was a fool. Wait a minute. Maybe you were the fool. How did we break up anyway? You said we had to cool it for a week because you caught crabs, and I thought it was a lie because you didn't love me, and I took up with that jailbait street meat for revenge, and you went off in a huff to save world drama. Yes. I thought I remembered it being about love. Well, Looky here now where we are. You love me. I love you. We're having a deathbed reconciliation fade out. That ought to satisfy 2 students of montage. Dear Lord, I'm suffering like a living thing. Sex may be safe, but love never is. Oh, saved from a fate worse than... Let me see. Yes, there's Mom and Sis rushing from judgment. I can see the church, and the sky, and the old International Stud Bar. No, fool, it's a restaurant now like everything else. How did they clean up that back room? Probably poured polyurethane to level the ruts left by my knees. No, don't call again. Use that new phone sex service. It promises troll-free calls. If you have to do something, write me a funny AIDS play. Sure you can. It's the biggest joke played on us since sex itself, and with the longest punchline. No, I don't want you to call. If God had wanted us to be friends with our old lovers, he wouldn't have made them such creeps. Goodbye, I love you, shut up! At least I'll never have to hear the term lifestyle again.